So let me tell you the story about Lena Sharp and her daughter, Emmylou Sharp. Prior to the Sharp incident, there was a media blackout in the news. The police officers of the police department did not take these 9 murders in the 4th Ward serious. Black men were not on patrol at night protecting the community, in other words, all women. And even after these 9 killings, there were black women who were still walking themselves home. It's not like there was a MARTA transit that they could ride. Most of them have cars, and most of them have a horse. So they were walking at night from work to home. One day, Lena Sharp, in the evening, decided to go get her and her daughter something to eat from the marketplace, some food that she can make. And Lena is gone about an hour, and it is now getting dark. And in the South, when you say dark, without the power of electricity as there is today, you had kerosene lamps on certain corners to light up the distance between blocks. But it wasn't well lit, it was just those corners were lit up. And so Emmylou decides to go looking for her mother. And she gets a couple blocks away from her house. She gets to one of the corners that's lit by a kerosene lamp, and she runs into a man who's about 6'3", black fedora, black gentleman's coat that came down to his knees. Big man. And as she gets to the corner, he says to her, "Good evening, young lady." And she's a kind woman. She says, "Good evening to you, sir." And she steps around the big man to continue on her journey, and he steps back in front of her. And she looks up like, "What the?" And he says, "Oh, don't worry, young lady. I don't harm women like you." And before she could say anything, because I know she's quite perplexed at him saying that to her, he reaches out, grabs a dagger, and jabs her in the back. Her adrenaline kicks in, and Emmylou Sharp takes off running. Now he's laughing and not running with her. Imagine that. So as she runs and she gets away, gets to a neighbor's home, they take her in. They take her to the hospital. And it is there that she finds out that they found her mother, Lena Sharp, about 2 blocks away in an alley where her throat has been cut and her vajayjay has been mutilated. So this sick monster that stabbed the daughter almost got a 2-for-1 that night. This goes on for 22 more murders. 22 women killed by this monster that I call Black the Ripper. Some people called him the Atlanta Ripper, some people call him the Atlanta Butcher, but he was taking advantage of our sisters. We are now over 110 years since the Atlanta murders of black women. And that story is never told in schools. It's not in our history books. You can't find books on it. Me and my company just recently finished up a book called Black the Ripper, which talks about this trying time in Atlanta's 4th Ward, back between 1910 and 1913. We ask you to read it and see some of the mistakes that were made by men in our communities, because this can only happen in a community where the men are not wide awake, where you are not your brother's keeper. No woman at this time should have been walking by herself from her house at night. This community should have bonded together to protect all women And over that 3 years, we continue to have women walk by themselves home. Most of them were maids, cooks, servants, some secretaries, but some worked at the church. These were women who lost their lives because we didn't bond together as a community to protect them. So if you want to know more about Black the Ripper, the Atlanta Butcher, click on the link below. Order your copy of the book. It's a graphic novel, so you'll see some of the pictures our artists have done, and you can learn more about these women who there is no history for, because we have conveniently swept this incident under the carpet like many other Black incidents. This is our first edition. More to come. Grand Rising, family. Grand Rising.